Welcome to Two Crazy Scoots Podcast with your hosts, Ao and Antino. This week we have our special guest, Damyan Coats and Bosses. He's going to talk to us a little bit about music, the mariachis, being Greek, and Windex. So
top product right there.
Yep. So enjoy this week's podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Crazy Scoots Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Antino, with Damyan. This week, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Ready for these s'mores we're about to have and about to make over this little fire we have.
Yeah, dude. See, like, I've asked not a lot of people, but some people to be on the podcast, and everyone's like, "But I don't have anything to say." But
they
you,
automatically had a Beatles accent.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have.
But you, man, you hopped right on it. So, thanks.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was like, got to support the great podcast, with all these amazing viewers and our listeners, better said, not viewers.
Thank you for calling it great.
Great.
Of course,
I
that's
appreciate
what
that.
it is.
And he actually listened to it a little bit.
Oh, you listen?
Of course, I listen to it. Why would I? Why would I come on to something not knowing
Ask
what
Jacob.
it is?
Oh wow, you're doing better than me. I haven't heard a single one.
Aaron doesn't listen to it.
I don't.
It's because he
listen.
doesn't have to edit it. That's why he's like, my voice is perfect.
The first one, he didn't even know we were doing a podcast. We were just sitting there and talking.
And then
I'm
Antonio,
like, you're recording my conversation.
he's like, who are you, the CIA?
Better. Yeah, so this week I wanted to talk to Damyan because obviously we're both very musical people.
Yes. I mean, you more than me, but
No. Stop, please.
he's blushing.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
And I just want to throw it out there that Antino has several albums out there.
No. I
Oh
don't.
yes, I know.
I'm trying
I know.
to
They
get him
don't
to put
exist.
them on Spotify, but he refuses.
No, I'm gonna hack into his computer and I'm gonna take all of them and
Oh,
just put
there
them on
you go.
Spotify and I'll be like, Antino.
They're
If you
great.
think that this
and
is
they're on
edited
YouTube
badly,
as well.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah,
But
just throwing that out there. Anyway, continue.
anyways, so now that we got that out of the
see,
way.
you have albums. I don't even have a song.
A
I have
song?
albums.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk to you because we're going to educate Aaron today
Yes. Okay.
about mariachis
Okay.
and Mexican music. We were
Sounds
just
great.
watching the Texas tornadoes here, and he was
Yes,
he thought it was
amazing.
quite comical.
What?
Amazing Tex-Mex.
We're
What are
sitting
you
here
talking
enjoying it, and Aaron's laughing at the guy's hair.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that was
Again, we will put pictures up so you can see what I was laughing at. But the
No.
guy's hair was.
Can you explain to him who that is?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, who is that?
I think Antonio is probably going to be the better person to explain that. But let me just say something about the hairstyle. Yeah, most of the groups like that, like Los Tigres del Norte, like most of those, vocalists have that. If you look up pictures, they all have that kind of 1980s little mullet going there. But
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what year that was from, what we were watching.
we'll have to research that. And
All I saw was mullet. And I was like, so.
hey, that's the style.
I don't have a mobile number for Owen Johnson. You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
There goes the CIA again.
Exactly.
There you go. I'm going to put my phone to the side now. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of Mexican music, which I was not aware of until
Yeah.
we worked on that project last year. And you sat down and explained to me a lot about the different styles. I don't know if you want to talk about that this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different styles of Mexican music. There's like Duranguenses, Huapangos, Norteños, Sierreños, and stuff like that. And that's just more popular now with a lot of people that play, like 12-string guitars and will sit there and just do all this stuff. And then there's also the project that we did, mariachi music, and even some Spanish rock and roll and stuff like that. That's where like Maná came out, and that's where they really came out of. Or like Jesse and Joy, they're kind of like a pop, rock and roll, but in Spanish, obviously. But
Oh, never heard of them. I don't know about you, Aaron. Is that your cup of tea?
You know what? Honestly, for this, I'm learning. So that's why I'm listening to Dan.
he's
know.
taking notes.
He's going to take a nap in the back.
Yeah, this is all new for me. So.
He's like, wake me up when you're done talking about this.
No,
this
I'm
Spanish
listening.
stuff.
I'm listening. I'm learning.
Oh, okay.
I'm learning something
Yeah,
new.
but
So then, just walk us through your experience with just your musical journey, I guess we'll call it.
Musical journey.
Like, when did you start playing an instrument?
An instrument? I believe it was probably like 4th or 5th grade when they let us, start, have music class and, band or orchestra. And then that's when I picked up, I had picked up the trumpet originally. So that's the first instrument I ever really played and it was actually because of mariachi, because we had gone and because in my old high school, every year they did like kind of like a talent show, but with mariachis and folklorico and all that. And I was probably like 6 or 7, and the elementary schools and middle schools will go during the day on that Friday before they have the nightly performance. And they performed all these different songs, and then when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I want to play trumpet. Like, I want to play something in the mariachi, but I was like, once I heard a particular song that inspired one of the songs for that whole project that we did, that's kind of the song that I was like, yeah, I need to learn trumpet.
How did your family feel about you learning trumpet at 4th and 5th grade?
It wasn't the best, I guess you'd say, but it was funny because when I chose trumpet, everybody else was like choosing all these other instruments, because usually the way it works is a lot of the music, well, back in the day, it was a lot of the musical stores like Chicago Music, no Metronome Music, all those places. They'd have this night where they go to each elementary school for the 4th and 5th graders, and you'd go in and you'd be able to look at all the instruments and like kind of see other people that already know how to play these instruments, and you'd be able to rent right there, and they'd write a slip, and then 2 or 3 days later you'd go into the store and you'd get whatever instrument it was.
Oh wow.
So when we went, the lady was like, oh, well, the trumpet's actually the cheapest instrument if you were to buy it or to rent it. I think it was like probably like $7-8 a month, or maybe like $10 a month. I don't remember. But my parents were happy about that. But yeah, I remember my mom and my dad, and even my sister were always like, no, like I would sit there, because I'm very, stubborn when it comes to, especially music, since I'm such a perfectionist on all these things. I'll sit there for hours and hours on end and just play the same 3-4 notes and play it again and again until I make sure I can do it at speed and the way it's supposed to sound and everything.
So how long do you think it took for you to get where you felt you were at least proficient with it?
Probably each instrument, it varied, but for the trumpet, probably it took in my opinion, probably after like 3-4 months of like sitting there and practicing and doing everything, I thought I was able to actually be able to play something like a song or something. But again, it was in elementary school, so it was like basic, nursery rhymes or like lullabies and stuff like that, what we play on trumpet and we have for our concerts. So it wasn't anything like the project that we did. It wasn't anything big like that. But then in high school, obviously, as you get older, you can pick up stuff a lot quicker. And in high school, after probably like 2-3 weeks of playing the guitars, when I realized, I was like, okay, I can play a few songs, and that's when I started mariachi too. So
yeah, that's what I thought was pretty cool, is because I've been playing guitar since I was like 12, 13. But me and you, completely different styles. When I was trying to play with El Relámpago, I can't even pronounce this right, but when we were trying to learn that, it was really different than what I'm used to. There's no such thing as shredding in mariachi music, I find.
Yeah, unless you have the whole Tex-Mex or the whole mixes of different things. But yeah, it is difficult for, especially, obviously every genre has its own problems and techniques that you have to learn eventually. Like with classical music, you have to learn how to be able to move your fingers quickly and in rhythm and stuff. But for mariachi, it's not necessarily making chords or notes or playing guitar. It's always, for guitar at least, it's always making sure you can keep your right hand at the speed it needs to be, which is making sure your wrist is able to move and function the way it should be. So if you have any, like for a while when I had hurt my wrist, it was kind of difficult because I wasn't able to make the same movements and be as fast as I would normally because my wrist wasn't working the proper way. Same thing with trumpet, because there's a few people that I know that play trumpet, and when I had I had asked them to play mariachi for that project, and they were like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do mariachi because for that, it's the same thing, having versatility, but on your lips instead of in your wrist. You know, you have to be able to hit, those low notes, but also go all the way up and play melodies that, people are usually singing or doing falsettos. But you have to play it on your trumpet with, using your lips and manipulating those. That's the difference.
Wow. Yeah, I really, it kind of opened up my eyes to a lot of new music, I think. I had listened to a little bit of mariachi before, but not too much. But definitely playing it's really helped me appreciate the music a lot more. Something I was wondering, though, is, like, they don't really come out with new songs in mariachi, do they?
Recently, yeah. For example, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the artist, but the artist is named Pepe Aguilar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he has a few songs that are newer, and then his daughter actually has released some mariachi music that they've written, and it has traditional things that have been going on for 100 years, but it's obviously new lyrics and doing all these different things. But they also do refer back to all the traditional stuff like La Negra, Relámpago, all those different things, because that's the stuff everybody knows and everybody grew up with, even all the songs that Vicente Fernandez sings, and, you've heard before, that we would sit there, after practice, they'd just sit there singing all these songs, but because every generation grew up with them, because the generation prior to them would, sit there and blast all those songs on going down the street or something like that. So, but.
Yeah, that's what was funny is because initially when I had met my wife, now my mother, well, she was my mother-in-law then, but she saw that I play guitar, so she went up and she likes to sing, and she asked me to play. Can you play this song? I was like, I've never heard of that. It was like, what about this one? I was like, I've never heard of it. And then she's like, how about this? And I was like, no. She's like, here, I'll put it up on my phone and I'll show it to you. Maybe you can figure it out. And I was like, I really can't, because it was just so foreign to me.
Yeah.
But now I realize that those songs are extremely common because everybody has their own version of it. And it's like you can find, like if you look up one song, even online, you can find a bunch of different people playing it different ways and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think, well, it's just a tradition in Mexican music, just like, for example, in banda, there's banda recodo, banda limon, all these different type of, bands that have been playing since 1930s, 1940s. Some people don't know that. Some younger generations are like, oh, I thought it's only been like 10, 20 years, but they've been playing since the 1920s, 30s, 40s. But each year and each generation, as they pass it on to their children or their nieces and nephews or whoever joins that band, or even in mariachi, you'll see there's different variations because each person has their own twist, and each person is like, oh, well, I can't play that, or I don't like playing that. I'm gonna switch it up and do this or that. So there's so many, which is kind of difficult for teaching somebody or learning mariachi, because it's very much like Native American stories and stuff like that, folklore, because most of the stuff wasn't written down. It's not until the last like 20 years that they started writing everything down, because they started doing it in schools, like high schools and stuff, have mariachis. But before that, it was all, you sit down, a dad would sit down with his son and be like, okay, this is how you play this song on guitar, this is how you play it on trumpet, this is how you do a violin or guitarron or whatever instrument it was.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a lot different than American music, because mostly you just, like, they'd sit down with you and show you their cassette tapes or something and be like, hey, I really like this song. It's not learning how to play it, but it's more so just being exposed to the music that they listen to. But
yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, because like when we sat down and I would teach everybody, they're like, oh, well, like, what's the right way to do this? I'm like, there's 10 different ways that we could do this, but it's however you can play it, and it's just how it has always been. And like I said, it's only till recently that they started writing all this stuff down and learning, the different changes and, how different chords and different songs and everything work together to be able to create different songs and stuff.
So if you can just explain to Aaron then what a potpourri is, if I pronounce that correctly.
You want to know what a potpourri is? All right, a potpourri is actually very popular. Because they usually do it in memory of like different Mexican singers. But a potpourri is kind of like a mashup, or you can say a remix of like different songs. It's probably like 4 or 5 songs, but usually it's just of that artist, like sometimes like on the radio you'll hear like mashups or like remixes of like, you know, one person, like if you hear like a Boyz II Men, or you hear like Usher, or you hear like Katy Perry.
Now you're talking his
now
language
you're talking
here.
my language.
He didn't know they were mariachis.
No, and then actually, you know this, Boyz II Men came out with a few Spanish albums.
They did, yeah.
And I know you rock those. You played that to a few people,
they were saying.
you know, ladies that speak Spanish. You're like, I don't speak your language, but this will, you know.
This will.
No, but yeah, and I think that's something that helped me too. It's really not only listening to mariachi music, but also listening to other types of, you know, other genres of music to know how certain things work. Like not only singing, like for example, Boyz II Men, like I would listen on occasion to them and the way they harmonize, because sometimes, you know, people think when they harmonize or when they sing certain things, they have to follow the singer. But sometimes, like for example, Boyz II Men, if one singer goes up, you know, goes up a scale or something like that, another one will go low, or one will just stay the same the whole song. But it's just listening to those different types of genres that really helps, you know, learn everything. And even like you said, the example of with as mariachis, it's different because people walk up and be like, okay, play this song. And usually they're like, I want to sing to this song. And then like you're like, okay, I'm used to playing it in one key or whatever. And then they start singing it and you're like, well, they can't sing there. You know, it's too high or it's too low, you know, because there's been times where we'll play songs that guys will usually sing, and you know, a woman will walk up to us and she's like, oh, well, I want to sing this song. And I'm like, okay, so we'll have to change the key, or we'll do this or that, and we'll have to manipulate it slightly. But that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, that as mariachis, it's not learning songs. It's partially learning songs, obviously, so you have to know the songs in whatever key originally it is, but it's also learning how to make that change and manipulate certain songs in a short amount of time, like 3-4 minutes, you know, because we have break. That's why usually, excuse me, you'll usually see mariachis that they'll stop in between each song, but it's because they're like, oh, you know, we're going to do this song, and they're planning for it, and they're like, it's going to be in this key, or because sometimes, for example, if I'm going to sing a song, if I'm not feeling well that night, I can be like, okay, we're going to change the key so this person can sing it, or this or that. And it's just, like you said, in the little story, the little anecdote you gave us, it was just learning to manipulate all those things. And that's kind of what more mariachi is, like performing actually, like when you're, obviously people that did it in high school, or like the big mariachis like Vargas and all those other mariachis in Mexico, they are, you know, they perform every night, so they don't have to have people requesting songs, so they can sit there and memorize and read sheet music and do all this stuff. And but on like another mariachi will have to learn how to sit there and be like I said, change everything, because they're playing for people that, you know, they're just like requesting songs and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting, because in some of the research I'd done, there's actually two types of mariachi bands. The ones that you said perform every night the same songs, and then you have another one that's you're just doing it at parties and stuff like that. And I do see the big disconnect that people have, because they're like, oh, you play an instrument? Can you play this song? And you're like, it's not that easy. Like, it's a lot harder to switch things up like that. So I think that kind of exposed me to music more so, I guess, like you were saying, learning music as opposed to like understanding what the chord structures are. And if you're going to play this is going to come next and things like that, so that you can change the patterns for different songs. Because like what song were we playing? We did that thing for Danny's brother-in-law, or I don't know who it was, but his family thing. And what song did we play?
I think you had told me, but I don't remember what
you
song
weren't
it was.
there, were you?
No, you told me.
That was
about
Joseph.
You told me about it.
Oh
It was
man,
we
played one song, and I was like, man, this is not going over well. But they loved it, because the singer was like super into it, and we were like just massacring that precious classic. And she was like walking into the audience and singing,
and she was like really taking
and they
over.
they were like, wow, this was amazing. And I was like, man,
they're like, I've never. Did you guys get paid for this? You guys are professionals, you know? No, and that's the thing. Another thing too, you also have to realize, you know, even myself as somebody that's played mariachi for 5, 6, going on 6 years, is just know where your strengths are. It's the same thing as playing any, you know, music or singing or doing anything. You have to know where your strengths are, like even like you said, there's been times where, even when during our practices or even during the whole, project that we did, people would be like, "Oh, play this song or this or that," and I'm like, "Okay," and I would play it, but you wouldn't hear me play it as loud because I was like, I don't know
exactly what
necessarily how it changes. And again, some people sing it differently. Like, and you saw
Yeah.
it firsthand. Like some
Uh-huh.
people are like
They-
talking about chords and everything. Like it's supposed to go a certain way. There's a certain sequence that you're supposed to follow
yeah.
in mariachi music for certain things, but some people will change it. But it's because they're used to either doing it a cappella, and like I said, mariachi is supposed to follow the singer.
Uh-huh.
If somebody's singing way off, we're not gonna be like, no, come back, come back to earth and
'Cause
learn how to
there's-
sing the song. They're gonna be like, okay, follow wherever she goes.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to anticipate, and that's another thing too. Like you have to learn how to anticipate certain things and certain changes, because there's certain songs that I've played, for 2-3 years, and somebody comes in, for example, La Cigarra, I played that song, 5-6 times, and then when Eden came in and sang it, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I gotta change it slightly,
Uh-huh.
and I was trying to help her and follow her, but even there's other opinions that kind of were a bit more stubborn than myself, but but yeah, it's just learning how to follow and do all that stuff.
Yeah, and I liked it too when you have someone who wants to sing along with it, but they're so like passionate about that line in the song that they end up moving it like ahead before, like, no, we got to play one more verse and then we get into that. But they like just go full force right into it, and you're just like have to switch it up. It's a funny experience.
Yeah, it really keeps you on your toes. It really shows that you have to really pay attention to mariachi, because if even like I said, from personal experience, if you're not paying attention, you can be off, and then you can really tell, especially in our experiences of in the project and everything. Being mic'd up is completely different as well, because I've played in front of other people just as mariachi, but also being mic'd up is completely different. Or even amped up, you can hear everything. So if you hit the wrong part,
Yeah.
even the same thing being mic'd up or anything, it's just if you hit the wrong part of something or you hit the wrong note, you can hear it, and it's a big difference.
Yeah, that's what I realized playing the mariachi guitar is you do have to play it well and you have to play it right, but it's a lot more forgiving than like rock and roll music or something, because you are using an amp with rock and roll, and most of the time it's just you playing. It's not like you have 6 guitars with you or 3 or whatever you have. It's just you, the drummer, and the bassist, and if one of you screws up, it's like
It's gone.
it's you can really tell. I think with the violins and the trumpet, they're a lot more precise, and that's the harder part. But the guitar was as long as you're playing fast and jumping around,
Yeah, pretty much. You just go crazy and see, look, Aaron, I'm just gonna give you my guitar and you jump up and down for a little bit, and we'll be like, oh, he's a mariachi.
So, what were you gonna say?
Nothing.
Censor.
Yeah, sensory.
Bleep. Just bleep. No, I'm just kidding.
So now we're gonna explain to Aaron what a grito is.
What a grito is.
Do you know what a grito is?
I have no idea.
Hey, neither did I. I just knew what it was. I didn't know how to name to it.
You didn't know it. Well, obviously, people in the west or southwest, we have the yeehaw, we have that. So Mexican version of a yeehaw is a grito. You probably heard it in
Oh.
Mexican music, and they're
Like
saying
a
that.
shout or something.
It's like a shout, yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
Okay, yeah.
But the challenge is, especially when you do it and you're, like you said, if it's like Mariachi Loco or La Negra or any song like that, and it's upbeat and everybody's dancing and stuff like that, the higher you can sing and the longer you can hold it, the better, because it gets everybody hyped up, because if you do it loud enough and you hold it out long enough, sometimes people are like, yo, that gave me goosebumps, or I got chills, because if you do it really, really loud. And again, you have to know when and where to do it, obviously. And then obviously, if you have a microphone, like during the project when I had the microphone, it was a bit easier to be able to do that, because you're amplified.
Yeah.
You have, you don't have to use as much of your, compress your diaphragm as much to be able to do all that stuff. And this is how it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting too, because like, for instance, if you're gonna listen to other kinds of music, like if you go to a concert, you're just gonna stand there and just enjoy it. But I felt like the mariachi music, it kind of told you what to do. You can clap your hands. other people can do the grito in the audience, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like everyone's dancing. There's a lot going on. It's not like you're just sitting and listening to it. So I feel like it gets a lot, like everybody involved in it. And that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, and then I think that's more mariachis for parties and stuff like that, or get-togethers and stuff like that. Because there's various, like I said, not only a few types of genres, but there's also different types of mariachi music in itself. For example, like I said, you know, there's upbeat music like La Negra, or even like Mariachi Loco. That's a cumbia, so you can kind of dance to it and do this and clap your hands and do all this stuff. But then there's also like stuff to be able to serenade somebody, you know, and that's happened before, where people will be like, hey, let's go, you know, somebody, 2 guitars, a trumpet, and like a violin, and then somebody will just sing, you know, and they'll sing to their wife or whoever, and it'll be romantic songs and slower. And then there's boleros, which is also romantic, but it's kind of like a waltz, you know, and you can dance to that. And there's just a few different like variations in mariachi just in itself, types of, you know, music. But the stuff we try to stay more towards in the project especially was kind of upbeat stuff, because we don't want to, you know, we don't want to do the same thing we're doing to Aaron, is make people fall asleep, you know. So he's crashed out.
I am not falling asleep. I am listening.
Aaron is playing games on his phone now.
No, I'm not. I'm listening.
He's learning Spanish on Duolingo so he can understand.
Yeah. He's gonna play 8-ball.
What?
He's going to Firefox. He's gonna play 8-ball pool right now.
Can make changes. What do you want me to do? I can do it for you.
Oh snap!
AO. There we go. Sent. With all the memes that I send you through my messages.
Perfect. Thank you.
Amazing.
There we go.
Hey, just as a side note, and this is somewhat related to both of you all. One thing I've noticed is that I watched the video of you all playing, and one of the things I appreciate about both of you all is that while obviously you're able to play this music really well, both of you listen to and play a diverse type of music, which is pretty cool. Because like I remember when you were helping me out with my car, you were playing some Sam Cooke.
Yes, I love Sam Cooke.
I had no idea. Thank you.
In a little tent, on just like. Anyways, you can get me emotional.
I wasn't expecting that though, and Antonio, I mean Tino, sorry.
It really doesn't matter. It's just a joke.
Yeah, but you know, you have a ton of music that, you know, a wide variety of music that you can play and that you listen to. So
I really can't play that much, actually.
It
I
seems
just play
like
Radiohead all the time.
It seems like. Well, I mean,
I'm a creep.
He just changes the song. He changes it. He tunes it
and
down a little bit.
If he can't play the song, he makes it seem like he can. So,
Yeah.
so someone like me,
dude,
I'm like,
the
oh,
mariachi.
that sounds
There
great.
was so much of that. Like, I don't even speak Spanish, so they were like, you want to? This is me singing La Negra for you. Negrita, na 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 na.
Yeah, like I told everybody, you know,
That's
fake it till you make it. You know, and that's the thing too. It was for the timeline we were given. That was the best we could have done, and that's what we did.
Yeah,
and
but
I told
people like that song, like when they were saying, like people are singing that like with their hearts, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, but again, like I told you,
something
it's
about
just,
papers in the street and black women. I don't.
That's what it is. It's a black woman. We're not gonna talk about that though. It's gonna be a little controversial.
Oh, why not?
We don't want to get
Why
reported.
not? No, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I don't even.
It's showing
it's a
appreciation to
classic-
black women.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that.
La Negra lyrics.
Oh, am I gonna have to try to translate these things?
Negrita de mis pesares, ojos de papel volando. Negrita de mis pesares, ojos de volando.
Yeah, please do not put translate to English.
Translate to
No,
English.
translate to English.
Bold of my sorrows, flying paper eyes.
That does not sound like a compliment
Bold of
at
my
all.
sorrows, flying paper eyes. To everyone say yes.
Again,
but
that's
don't
why I
tell
said
them
don't
when.
Tell
necessarily.
them when. But
And
this
that's
is
how you
this
told
is
me.
you're right.
That's why I live in pain.
This is not racist at all.
When you bring me my black,
Hey, I never said that. Again, I didn't want to be
it doesn't translate.
No,
okay,
I know.
Eric?
It doesn't
I know.
translate
I'm kidding.
at all.
I know.
the
I'm
way
just
it
kidding.
should be. You know, it's direct translation.
Yeah, so that's another funny thing too. I mean, you know, it's all new to me. It's all Greek. as they
Pretty
say.
much. I mean, that's just life to me. It's like the people they're like, what do you call Chinese food in China? Food? Like, that's the same thing with me. Like, everybody's like, it's all Greek to me. I'm like, well, that's just my life. It's no joke. I don't get that joke. Like, I'm sorry.
Speaking of being Greek, that's like one of our topics for you today. And I love that, the way it's written, being Greek. Because it gives the impression that that's difficult in America these days.
No, it's not
being
difficult.
Greek.
It's just, how many Greek people do you actually know? Honestly.
Yeah. That
In
is my
Tucson.
question. I was going to ask you guys. Like, how many people do you know? Obviously,
And
I
watching
know
Mamma Mia does not count, okay, Aaron?
having Mamma Mia
As
or
a
Mamma
DVD
Mia
Or
too,
my big fat Greek.
or having either of those. All right.
Does not count.
That does not count. You're gonna be like, there's at least 10 people on that cast, because nobody on that cast is Greek. Nobody. Even the main character of my
So
Big Fat
you
Greek
think-
Wedding is married to a
Wait
Greek
a
guy,
minute.
but she's
Wait,
not Greek.
But you're only half Greek, right?
Yes,
Or-
but
or
I
a
say I'm
quarter
full
Greek.
Greek.
Or
No,
a quarter.
I'm half. My dad was 100% Greek and my mom's 100% Mexican.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I'm half. I usually say I'm full because I'm like, you know, there's a few. Let's just say there's a few Mexicans around here, you know, in Tucson, Arizona. So I'm just like, just throwing some
Like, hey,
something
guys,
exotic,
I'm Greek.
There's
oh,
only a
cool.
couple.
you know.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But how many do
a
you
lot
know,
of times
Aaron?
who are
How many do you know
Greek people?
in Tucson?
In Tucson.
Oh, in Tucson?
It's not something that you commonly run into, is all I'm saying. That's why I put being Greek on there.
Let's see. Yasmin.
Yeah,
My
his
sister, my family does not count. If we're gonna talk about family, I have family here too. I'd be like, well, I know this person, and this,
Yeah.
you know, but
But that's why I thought it was interesting. So how did those two cultures blend, I guess, in your self?
Well,
Um,
what had happened was
what happened was my mama and my. You
so
know, they would-
euros and
So
Wait.
euros and tacos. It's because they're euros and tacos. They're the same thing. It's just different bread and different meat, and that's it. That's how it
Tortillas.
works.
in different
Pizza.
seasoning. You're right.
That's pretty much the same
It's
thing.
pretty much the
It's
same thing.
pretty much the same thing. So I'm pretty much
Well, then
100% Greek or 100% Mexican, however I feel on that day.
how do you feel today?
100% Greek, obviously.
Right
I can't
here.
feel
Right.
100% Mexican and be talking about being Greek. That'd be hypocrisy.
You're just talking about mariachis, man. What's like a Greek music then? Do you play any of that?
Greek music. I listen to a lot of it. I don't play very much of it because it's usually on an instrument called a bouzouki, and it's 6 strings, and it kind of looks like a sitar, but
This looks like a what?
like a sitar.
A sitar?
Yeah, you know,
What
Like
is
an
a
Indian
sitar?
sitar. Look up bouzouki. Just look up.
bazooka,
No, not B-O.
bazooki Joe.
I apologize for my ignorance. I just don't know
No,
what
it's
it
all right.
means. Oh, a bazooka.
No, not a bouzouki.
Bazooki. Here we go.
Bouzouki. That's
There
what it
you
is.
go. It
Oh.
almost looks like a mandolin.
Yeah,
but-
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
it's very close to a mandolin.
2, 4,
And,
6, 8. Is it 8 strings?
There's 6 and 8 strings. There's 2 different types of bouzouki's, but the difference between a mandolin and that is because that has a lot longer of a neck. I think it's 15 frets. Let me see, 12, or maybe it's more. I think it's like 17 frets before it gets to the body of the bouzouki. But yeah, I don't have one of those, so it's very difficult to play those types of songs or on. Now
I'm
just
trying
looking
to
up-
find
now
how
we're
to
just looking
buy a
up-
bazooki,
Now
but
it's
it's
just RPGs. That's all. That's all.
bazookas.
They're gonna be like, what is he looking up? Why is he looking up RPGs and bouzouki's? But yeah, it's a bit difficult to play those types of songs because it's in a higher range, the bouzouki. So
Can we
it's different.
post a picture? of
Yeah, we can post a picture of a bazooki.
that? Okay.
And a bazooka.
Just so people
Just
can
to
see what
confuse
we're
Just to
talking
know the
about.
difference.
Yeah, just so in case you didn't know.
So look, video, 10 minutes. What the heck is a bouzouki? We can just stay here in
Okay,
silence.
you
and-
can buy a bazooki for $550 on eBay. This podcast has been sponsored by.
Right, exactly.
has been sponsored by.
Exactly. Well, there's an Irish one that's
Use your
a
promo
little bit
code
cheaper.
Your promo code, Damyan. If you can spell
Damien
his name
25.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you can figure out how to spell his name, then you'll get the code.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
If we had,
Apparently, I don't know how to spell it.
If we had
Co-
comments, put it in the
coats-
comment section. How to spell Damien,
Quotes and biases.
or just text me. Hey, is this how you spell your name? I'm like, nope,
No,
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, the Irish bouzouki is even closer to a mandolin, and there's a few songs that sound a few because I've listened and I've looked for the difference because I do know an Irish bouzouki is cheaper.
Yeah.
But again, it's because it's made in factories and stuff like that. And bouzoukis, Greek bouzoukis, are usually still handmade. Even the ones that are 550, those are usually the ones that are here in the U.S. Because there's obviously parts in Greece that they make it, but there's a part in New York and I believe in Chicago that they make those instruments for the Greek communities that are there.
Wow.
And because here, I mean, that's the thing. There's a Greek community of probably like anywhere from like 3,000 or 5,000 people, I think, or at least probably a few years ago when I would talk to some of my family members on that side. And
it's really
That's
hard not
just-
to get distracted by what
it's very-
Aaron's doing
I
in
know,
the
he's
background. We're trying to have a serious podcast.
okay, I'm gonna read the question.
No.
No,
Question.
no.
Question from our listeners: Can you blank
No.
to Greek music? Fill
You
in the
can
blank.
Fill in the blank.
We'll let you fill in the blank.
Can you dance to Greek music? How do
Yes.
they dance? Is there a lot of hopping?
Actually, at my sister's graduation party, because that was kind of a tradition. That in my sister's 5th grade promotion into middle school, I danced with my grandfather and my dad. And then middle school to high school promotion, it was just my dad and myself. And then I don't know who it was that brought it up, because with the whole international and everything, there was a few people from Greece. Well, they were from Germany, but they were Greek. And I guess the week before, they had a party and they taught them how to dance a very popular song. It's called Sirtaki in Greek, but it's known as Zorba the Greek dance because of the movie Zorba the Greek, and that's where he, showed that dance, and the song comes on, and so people usually like, oh, Zorba dance, But somebody brought it up, and I was like, yeah, like we use it. And my mom was like, yeah, you guys usually dance at your sister's, graduation, promotion, whatever. You dance that song, and I was like, okay. And I was like, but I don't have anybody to dance with. But there was a few people that were like, oh, yeah, we're at that party last week, and we know how to do it. And I was like, okay, let's see. So I just put in music, and it started slow, like it always does. And they're like, oh, we can keep up with this. But there's different versions of that song. Same thing as mariachi music. There's different versions of those Greek songs. So I played it, and it sped up really fast. And you have to be able to keep up with all that stuff. And everybody was like tripping over everybody else, and then like they're holding on, because usually when you do circle line dances in a circle, you usually either hold hands or grab the person's shoulders next to you. So I was doing that, and then after a while I was like, you guys are slowing me down, and I just moved, and I was going by myself. I was like dancing around everybody else, and there was all tripping and stuff like that. But yeah, that if you really want to work out, that song is a huge workout, because I think it's 4.5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But it's just going in circles, and then it speeds up, and then it slows down, and it speeds up again, and it gets even faster, and you're going in circles, and you're trying to, you're on your, tippy toes, you're not really landing on your heels very much, and if you do, you're kind of slowing yourself down.
It's a good calf workout.
It's a very good calf workout. But yeah, we played that song twice at my sister's graduation, and by the end of it, like everybody that was like dancing was like soaking wet. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, you guys, I didn't make you do this. You volunteered.
Is it kind of like that one Mexican dance where they like, it's almost, it's like square dancing. It's like, it's like that.
Oh, I know.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They do that at
similar.
every party.
Yeah, most parties. Yeah. It's similar to that, but like I said, it's a bit faster than that.
Wow.
Even like the I don't know if you've seen the Payaso del Rodeo, where it's like 2 one way, 2 another way, and and or even like other songs that they'll do at the different dances that they have. Like I'll dance to it, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, that's fast!" And I'm like, "Let me put some Greek music on that, because it's a lot faster." That's when that bouzouki comes in hand, because it's so much smaller than a neck. Like the neck is so much smaller, and like even if you see videos and tutorials, like they start off slow, and you're like, "Okay, I can do this," and then when they play it at full speed, they're like, "Wow, like that's really shred. Like I should buy one and let you have it." And I'm like, "Here you go, bro. You can shred on that.
Shred on
I'll teach you how to play some Greek music." But that's
cool.
usually how it is.
Looks like Aaron wants you to sing a short
Sing.
Greek song.
Sing a short Greek snippet.
Just like
That's
just give us a
amore.
sample that is not Greek.
That's Italian.
Oh.
I am offended.
Sorry,
For all
you got
Europeans.
Greek
It's
dressing,
not all the
Italian
same.
dressing.
You're like,
It's not all the
you're
same,
just like,
Antino.
you're just like, you know what? Just put the name in front of it and write dressing, and that's what it is. You know, it could be the same thing.
To
just
him,
right.
to him, it's all the same.
It's all Greek, man.
to him.
It's all Greek to me.
It's the same. Hey, that's how it was. You know, when he started the mariachi, he was like, they're
Oh,
all Mexicans.
dude.
All Mexicans.
Dude, you don't even want to know, man. It was hard. It's just the cues that you're taking in music for American music is totally different than mariachi, and there's like no breaks in between the strumming. And normally you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have like just a little tiny bit of space before you go on to the next verse or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And in mariachi, it's just like full force, all the way through.
No, yeah. Especially like, for example, like La Negra. It's just like you're going through and your right hand is doing the same motions over and over again. Like literally just sitting there doing the same thing. Your left hand is where you like take rests or you hold it on a certain chord or do certain things, but your right hand the whole time is, especially for upbeat.
hand-
Even La Negra, though, you have that section where it goes like A7, D7, G, C.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
and you got to keep like switching back and forth, and it's like the weirdest chord progression
Yeah.
ever.
And
if
very-
you screw it up, you can tell. The other songs, it's like not that bad. That one was like hard for all of us trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and then even a few people, they're like, oh, let's do it, you know, let's keep doing it, and we'll do it full speed. And I'm like, you do not want to do it full speed. And even like the times that I've sat, and when it's just me and I play with, you know, the other violin players and the trumpet players and stuff, I'll try to go full speed, and then I have to slow down because, you know, they're so used to playing it at a slower tempo, which is not bad. You know, they got used to and accustomed to playing it a bit slower because everybody was still learning and they couldn't move it, and they didn't really know how to do all the exercises to keep their, you know, wrist at the speed, and they needed it to be the whole song because a lot of times, if you notice, even in the video from the program, it's just, you know, you can tell when we slow down and when we speed up, and especially when everybody started singing, there's a few people, like even in the video, that's just stopped playing entirely.
Yeah.
But it's just so they can be able to keep up singing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very versatile type of music. You're a singer, you're a guitar player, and you know, whatever else they want to make you do.
Hey,
Yeah,
yes,
sir.
I'm just kind of throwing a curveball in here real quickly.
Of course.
Do you know the name of that? What's the name of that group? And I don't know if they're from Mexico or not. I'm not sure, but it's a group. It's really just a guy and a girl. But the girl plays.
Rodrigo y Gabriela.
Are they Mexican?
Yes.
But they
Pretty sure.
don't.
They don't sing. They just play like guitar. Both of them play guitar, I believe.
Do they do any mariachi music? Okay.
No, and the thing is, they like when I've seen videos, like even Mr. Antino over here, he showed me a few videos too when we were out, and like it's very similar progressions, and you know the way they're strumming the guitar and tapping on the guitar and everything. It's very similar.
It's very
But there's
American.
also some classical music and very very much rock and roll
Yeah.
influenced.
Oh, okay.
That's why I liked it, was because it reminds me of American music, because they do cover a lot of American songs too.
And that's what made me think of it is just, you know, as you're talking and you're talking about playing the mariachi songs, like you're gesturing, and the way you were gesturing just reminded me of that.
Yeah, well, it is a nice blend in between Mexican and
No, yeah,
the rock
it is.
music
It
too.
definitely is.
Especially because they have like an intensity to it that you find in rock and roll, but at the same time, it's got the speed and the focus of, you know, like Mexican music.
Yeah, it definitely does, and that's the thing. A lot of even Mexican artists, like for example, Maná, that plays, like all of them. You know, most of them grew up here, or they moved over there. You know, eventually, or you know, even for example, Pepe Aguilar. A lot of people didn't know he spoke English. That he went to USC, I believe, some university in California, but a lot of the newer stuff, or like that type of music, is also heavily influenced with like American music. You know, even there's some, like for example, Tacos Apson, that's off of a band called Los Apson, and they did a lot of, even though it was their songs, they just did a lot of covers of, you know, like songs like Under the Boardwalk, but they translated it in it. Well, they didn't translate. They changed the lyrics in Spanish because it doesn't directly translate, and they have all these hits and all these things, but it's American music that they changed into, Mexican music. Same rhythm, same exact thing. That's why even sometimes, even some country songs like "Achy Breaky Heart" by Billy Ray Cyrus. There's a song that at most parties they dance to, and it's literally just the Spanish version of that, of "Achy Breaky Heart," and everybody's like, dancing to it and going this and that and doing all this stuff. But I'm like, they're like, oh, I love this song. I'm like, yeah, but it started in English first because there's a lot of heavy influence of American music and a lot of that stuff.
And that's what's cool to me is how everything, it kind of all mixes together, whether music transcends national barriers.
Yeah, definitely does.
Because you can take an English song and make it something else, and you can take a Spanish song and make it English.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that, what's that one, the Cariño song that
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys were showing me? You guys would play a mariachi version. I could never find one online unless I looked on YouTube. Like if I was looking on Spotify. But I found like a really old version where they just playing like a piano type instrument, it sounds like.
Yeah, and that's like I mentioned before, that's the biggest problem. Well, not problem, but biggest thing we face as mariachi players is that there's so many amazing songs and not only romantic songs but upbeat songs, but there's no sheet music for it. There's no real versions for it. Like you have to really, really, really search for it if you don't know somebody that already knows how to play. For example, Cariño. That song is not a song that'll come up very often unless somebody knows it. And, the people in Phoenix happen to know that song, so they played it. And I'm like, I've heard it before and I've played it before. But there's, like you said, like even like you had mentioned to me, there's not a lot of versions of those songs because they would play it and, just within themselves, they would, like I said, at weddings, different gatherings. But it's kind of like folklore, they just do it in the group that they're at. They wouldn't record anything. They wouldn't write anything down. They wouldn't do any of this stuff. And that's more mariachi music, which I find is more unique because if you look at all the other types of Mexican music, like bandas or anything like that, it's all, instruments that came out of, even like norteñas, like Ramon Ayala, like you said. He plays the accordion. The accordion didn't originate in Mexico. It originated probably in
South Chicago, I think.
Yeah, probably. I think I heard that one time.
Yeah,
probably
in a pizza shop.
Yeah, somebody was just singing, But yeah, there's just different parts of Europe and different influences. When they came over, they brought their instruments and stuff like that. So mariachi's really, I remember a mariachi instructor always said, mariachi is the real music of Mexico because that's, all the instruments are made there, like a vihuela or
because even like the
guitarrón.
accordion, that stuff's like polka music, right?
Yeah, it originates from polka music, and all the German, Polish, all that stuff. It's all polka music, even like Ramon Ayala and stuff like that. A lot of the scales and the way they play it, and even cumbias and stuff like that has those origins. But mariachi music is right there. It's all the instruments are obviously like the guitar and trumpet and violin originated other places, but like the vihuela or the guitarrón or a guitarra de golpe, which a lot of people, I mean, myself, I have seen it before.
A hit?
And
Is golpe mean hit?
Yeah, but it's very much like, it looks like a smaller guitar. It's a mix between a guitar and a vihuela.
Okay.
And it's tuned slightly differently. And I've played it before and I saw it, but to also, help, like I'm saying, in that project, to help everybody else learn all those things and do all these things, and then also for me to sit there and practice and learn that instrument again, I was like, I'm not. And then to be able to buy one, it's the same thing as bouzouki. It's like at least $700, $800, and I was like, I don't think I want to be spending that much right now. Especially
investments,
going that much to
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I realized. Also, being a musician is a lot more expensive than you thought it'd be. It's just the travel, the time it takes to practice, trying to get together and actually like make something that sounds good, and then going to the show, and it's a lot of fun. But I think it's really easy to oversimplify the process because all you see is the end result when you're watching a band, but you don't see everything that goes into it. Like you would think, how do I get all these instruments to that place? Well, you have to put it in your car and take it there. and then
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
it when you're driving.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to forget your instrument, which you think, I'm going to band. I mean, I'm going to go practice with the band. And you show up and you're like, I didn't even bring my guitar. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's with any that commitment with any band you have, whether it's rock and roll or jazz band or any type of band or ensemble that you have, you have to make that sacrifice and take the time to practice. And
Yeah.
which was, in my opinion, a bit more difficult for the group that we had. Not necessarily saying that they didn't necessarily always practice, but it was difficult because they'd be like, oh, let's break up, and then we'll come back together for an hour, and then we'll break up for an hour and a half, and then we'll come back together. I'm like, we'd be finishing at like 11:30 midnight,
Yeah.
1 o'clock on some like sometimes that we'd do practice. And I was like, this shouldn't be, like, you have to make that sacrifice of practicing on your own and making sure that you have that down first, and then when we come together as a group, it's for us to come together as a group and play each individual piece together.
Yeah.
It's not. And something that I told some people, but other people I didn't really have the chance to, was especially for mariachi music, since it's so, like you said, it doesn't have any breaks or anything like that, especially on guitar or trumpet or all the instruments. So as a musician, you have to learn to make those breaks. So that's why, like, when I would help you guys and learn, I'd be like, okay, we're going to learn this, this, and this. Even though they'd be like, no, let's go through the whole song. I'm like, no. Each individual piece is going to be its own song. And then when we put it together, then we'll have the whole song, rather than trying to play through the whole song. And we're like, oh, we'll get lost, but we'll come back together for the end. Like, I was like, okay. I'm like, that's kind of like getting on a train and be like, oh, we have no coal, but we'll figure out something. Throw in your jackets or something, throw in a piece of wood. Hey, I got an extra shoe. Like, here you go. Like, no, I got some wood soles right here. Like that. No, it's just, that's one thing that was also very difficult for myself, because that's how I had learned. And like, mariachi instructors are very strict like that, especially the ones I had.
Well, I understand why now. Well, why they have to be strict, because if you're working with so many people, there's got to be some kind of like serious structure to it. Otherwise, it's like, it can fall to pieces pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's just making sure that everybody learns it. And obviously, like in school, there would be times where they'd be like, oh, okay, if you have any questions, if you need help learning something else in this song or that song, I understand that. And even like I had mentioned to you guys had started playing 3 weeks after you guys learned, which is in front of an audience. It wasn't a huge audience, but it was still, an audience of like 20, 30 people, I believe. But other mariachis, even school mariachis, you won't, because usually everybody starts in school, whether it's high school, middle school, whatever. You won't play mariachi music for at least a year or two.
Oh, wow.
Because you have to learn the techniques, you have to learn certain songs. And even though you do that for a year or two, you'll have a repertoire of 3-4 songs. But because they go so in depth and showing you certain strumming patterns and chord progressions, and even at the same time as you're playing, they're like, okay, if you're gonna harmonize, you're gonna sing here and you're gonna sing here, and based on where your voice is and stuff like that. Well, that's why I'm saying, like, for myself, I know that personally helped me. Like I said, listening to other genres, like for example, Boys and Men, for the harmonizing and singing and knowing exactly where my voice is supposed to be, and also it also did help, because sometimes I'd practice and not sing those songs, and it helped me learn where my range was, because again, like I said, you have to know and manipulate certain songs and change that key to where you can sing it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was knowing where I could sing, how high I could sing, how low I could sing, and doing all this stuff. But
that's what I liked about it too, though, is like you're saying, a lot of other genres, you need a microphone if you're going to sing. But with the mariachi, you can take it outside, you can take it anywhere, and that's the cool part about it, is it's not really that much to set up. You just, you have your own stuff and they have their own things, and everybody kind of harmonizes together. And I mean, because like, if you have an electric guitar, you can't just go outside and start playing in the backyard with someone.
I mean, you could, but you get a few complaints. They'd be like, who's that person killing a cat back there?
Yeah. But you got, like, I was watching this documentary called It Might Get Loud, and it has the guy from U2, the guitarist. And
the guitarist from U2.
The Edge. There you go. And he's playing like 3 chords, and it sounds like garbage. I mean, not garbage, but it's just like, yeah, it's 3 chords, whatever. He's like, okay, now this is. So he presses a button and it turns like all of his effects on. And it's like, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that's like how much they've manipulated the sound to create something, which I think is cool in itself. But this is like authentic. I feel more like you're playing it and you can hear exactly what you're playing. It's not like, I don't know, like it's not like using a guitar pedals faking it, but you know what I mean. It's just,
No, it's just, yeah, you're definitely just changing the sound. And as a mariachi player, you also learn how to do that too as well. Because like even I mentioned to Cesarito, because there's like half mutes or partial mutes. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a trumpet and it has like a silver like kind of mute coming out.
The bottom.
Yeah. So those partial things, it slightly mutes the sound, and usually for romantic songs to kind of play it easier and you won't have to add as much air, and and it sounds a lot smoother and everything, and like kind of more like a lullaby and stuff like that. You do learn to use different things like that. Or even there's a song called El Señor Trompetas, and it's literally at the beginning it's just trumpets, and you're just sitting there, and there's different techniques that you use with your tongue and your bottom lip, and then with your fingers that make it sound really, really cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize how hard it is on your mouth to play the trumpet until I saw you guys after playing, or them playing for a while.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It also comes with any instrument or any trade or anything you have. It comes practice and knowing how to execute certain things and having exercises for everything. Because there's exercises that even my mariachi instructor, he had probably he had like 55 years playing trumpet.
Wow.
And still every single day he'd take out a trumpet for an hour and just sit there doing scales, or he'd play it one song over and over and over again for an hour, and he'd do that 5-6 times or 5-6 days a week, and then that last day he let it rest, his lips rest. Even if he didn't, because there'd be times where he wouldn't play trumpet for any gigs or anything like that, but he still kept those exercises up to have that versatility with his lips to be able to do certain things and be able to hit certain notes and play certain songs. Because same thing when you're singing, you have to do vocal exercises, because you have to train your voice to be able to do certain things. Playing trumpet is very much the same, and that was another thing that was kind of difficult, was making sure everybody did exercises and doing this and that. Because even now, like that, when I play trumpet on occasion, sometimes I'll still break out my trumpet and I'll do exercises and do this and that, so I can be able to keep up and still be able to play the songs that I used to.
That's what they say, is when you make something look easy, that's when you've really mastered it. And when you see someone and it looks so easy for them, you really don't ever see all the work that goes in, the time. No. And I think I already knew that because I played music before, but I really it really impressed that upon me. Like, there's a lot that goes on into anything, even more so I feel with mariachi music, because everyone's got to be in sync, and it's not just you practicing. You got to work with other people and make sure that we're all in sync. And I think that's the cool part about it too, though, is that you're able to include a lot of people. It's not just like you standing in the corner playing your guitar, and
you don't look like Mr. Ao over here just sitting in the corner crying and playing.
He looks like he's
Flappy
about to
Bird.
rap, man.
He brought Flappy Bird back, and
not on this episode.
My name's Ao. Don't you know?
Oh, man, that's amazing.
That's horrible.
That's amazing.
So, you brought your guitar with you, and I'm not sure. Are you going to actually play?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm supposed to play.
So
something.
I want you to show our audience just a traditional mariachi song. I think that you enjoy playing.
Mariachi song that I enjoy playing.
You can either sing, or you can just play it,
or you can do both.
Or you can do both.
And dance.
And Aaron's going to beatbox in the background, because I do believe that that's one of the big things in mariachi music is having a beatbox.
No, he's going to do
exactly
a grito in the back, too. He's like... he's going to hit a grito.
Oh, man.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoa.
And it's a lot harder than you think it is. And if you screw it up, it's like might as well just move. Move cities. Just leave.
Just leave the country.
Leave the country.
Don't go to Mexico, though, because then they're going to be like, we heard about you. Don't try to sneak in. No. But, and that's another thing, too. Even for that, there's certain vocal exercises that people will do to make sure that they can get a grito. Because even like you said, people take time and they make it seem a bit easier than it is sometimes. Because I remember sometimes we'd be in the practices and some people would try to do it right next to me,
Yeah.
and I'd be sitting there holding it out, and then they'd stop, and I'd still keep holding it out because, again, it's just same with a guitar. You know how to manipulate certain things, or with a trumpet,
Yeah,
you have to know how to manipulate and kind of save some of that air, but still compress your diaphragm and let it go up and do all these things.
Can you give us an example?
You want an example?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have to stand back.
Of some
Okay.
preparation.
Of what? What would you? A grito? You want a
yeah,
grito?
Yeah, or a warm up or whatever,
I'm not. What do you mean warm up?
like they're like.
or whatever warm up. Because you said that they do warm ups for.
I personally don't do warm ups. That's the thing.
We need a
That's
punching
kind of where I'm
bag.
more.
We're putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot. That's kind of where I lack. That's one thing I don't do very much of is
Because,
vocal exercises.
Dude, those like I've seen like other mariachis and like the singers just hold it out as long as they can.
Like what? How does it sound?
It's
Please.
like I don't know.
He's like, I don't know.
I want to hear this example.
No,
Yeah.
it's because you can't even like try to pretend to
Yeah,
do it
and-
because it's so difficult. And every time they like switch singers, the next singer holds it out even longer.
Yeah, and that's the thing with mariachi is kind of being more. I'll do another. I'll sing another
my
song.
joke
I'll sing a
to
song
you.
right now. Pretty much, but I'll show you a song where it kind of does that. But there's even like I said, there's certain like there's a few mariachi instructors that I had that would be like, okay, when you go and you say, for example, an A, it's a bit more difficult for you when you're going up and you're doing a falsetto or you're doing certain things for you to move to an A. So trick your mind and kind of trick, all these, muscles and everything and start off as an I in Spanish and then an A, turn into an A. And it's kind of, it sounds weird and a bit difficult to understand,
Unless you do it, then we can understand.
Okay.
You go from an I to an A.
Yeah. What's an
Oh,
I
no. I'll use another example. It's,
It's like no, actually,
I'll do an example, but for example, in using I when you're going up, when in reality it's an E. So like for malagueña salerosa. So when you do the falsetto, it'd be malagueña salerosa. It's an E, but it sounds like an I. But you're tricking your vocal cords to be able to do those things without cracking. Because if I were to do just a straight E and go, because I'll try to go a little bit higher. But if you try to go that high, sometimes for some people their vocal range isn't the best, and won't go that high or can't go that low. But you're kind of tricking,
Yeah.
That was
vocal
actually
cords
pretty
into
good.
doing
Yeah, it was.
I'm very impressed, actually.
Why you're like, man, I want to hear this man suck when he sings. I just want to hear.
I was rooting against you this whole
Wow,
time.
this whole time he was like, you know what?
But you were amazing. I appreciate
No,
it.
Shut up,
no,
man.
don't
We'll
lie.
have you
Don't
back.
be patronizing.
Don't praise it.
No, I'm not. I'm being
Had
Here,
you
here's
heard
the-
a lot of mariachi music before you moved to Tucson? Or had you even like what was your knowledge of all this stuff?
Yeah.
Before you moved.
So the mariachi music I had heard it just at different events that you go to.
With all the Mexicans.
And people do, yeah, and right, and they're doing the dance and
Yeah.
stuff and everything. So I've seen it before, but I haven't heard it as much as I did when I moved here. But I will say this: a lot of the Portuguese music is very similar. There's a lot of similar elements to some of the Portuguese music. Some of the old folk type Portuguese music, it's very there's a lot of similar elements.
It was actually funny because I was talking with Danny about this, and then he was like, "Hey, I want to show you a song," and it was in Portuguese, but it sounded just like a mariachi song.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow!"
It's
Like this-
very
and it's
I
like
don't know
70s or 60s or something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's the thing I like about the mariachi is it's very like party based.
yeah.
Some of the songs, but in Brazilian music, man, they go all crazy. But it's mostly percussion instruments,
Right, exactly.
And it's like got the beat, and it's
you
just
can really
like
it's really an African influence to it.
That
you can really
samba?
hear.
yeah,
Got a little samba going.
And then bossa nova, man, I love that stuff. Although some
Bossa Nova.
people are like, that's elevator music. I'm like, well, maybe I like being in an elevator. Okay.
The rest of my life, okay?
Okay.
Maybe I like living in an elevator.
But yeah, what was I gonna? Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I want to hear you play something.
Yeah, man.
You want to
That's
hear
the
me
song.
play something?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can sing if you want. No pressure.
I'll do it. All right.
Please no cursing.
There's a million people listening.
There's a
don't-
million people. For
Don't mess up.
the
Son.
27,000 listeners that we have out there.
Yeah, dude, all of their.
All those. Let me see.
Is that a new guitar?
No,
I don't think
I had
so.
it. I had it at the.
Oh, you did. Oh, do you want to put your mic right there?
Yep.
No, you don't have to hold it. You can just put it on the table. Nice. There you go.
You good?
That's
Good?
the tone, man.
That's beautiful. All right. So this song is called. I don't even remember. Amor de los dos.
Amor de los... love of the two?
Yeah, but the title's a little different than what it talks about. It's PG-13. Don't worry about that. I don't want to be like, oh, bleep the whole song. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So. Vivir en el mundo con una ilusión es loca esperanza, sufre el corazón, mi vida es tu vida, amor de los dos, tú me haces sufrir, ya lo pagarás, tú no tienes perdón. Perdóname si te he ofendido. Perdóname. Ten compasión. Yeah, and then the rest of the song just keeps going up. Like you said, it just keeps going. Even that whole thing, that whole perdóname part. Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to touch your heart like that.
Dry your tears, Aaron.
I'm
Dry your
trying
tears.
not to.
But even at that part, there's in that song, the way they usually do it is, it'll be a guy and a girl, and that part they'll just hold it out, and then sometimes they'll go up for a falsetto and come back down and do all these things. But it's just part of making that show, and that's what I love about mariachi music is the change, because you can change. There's even certain songs that start off slow. For example, a song called Alejandra by Javier Solis.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off slow, and then you just hear the bass notes from a guitarron, just bum 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 bum, and then it speeds up, and it speeds up, and then it drops back down and slows down, and it gets more romantic, and it's like a waltz, and then it speeds up again, and it does all these things. But it's pretty much mariachi.
I've never heard that song that you played, and that's
Really?
Yeah, that's the funny thing is that when I first started working with you guys, it was like, oh, you've never heard that song? I'm like, no, I haven't.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. If you
but
don't,
it's pretty popular.
yeah, usually that's more the. Usually, whenever I do perform songs, it's usually songs by like Vicente Fernandez, Pepe Aguilar. Well, it actually depends on the crowd, because there's some, like the older generations, I'll do like artists like Cuco Sanchez or like Pedro Infante or certain, because those are songs they grew up with.
Yeah.
And they hear, they'd watch movies. Even if you see like the black and white Mexican movies, the guy has a guitar and he's like singing.
Yeah.
Even there's a part where like he's in the middle of like an automotive shop, and then he has a guitar out of nowhere and he starts singing, and I'm like, yep, that's. And then I'm like, and then they wonder why we don't, what we do at work,
Yeah,
they
you
think
guys
we
just
just
playing
sing
guitar
with the
all the time.
guitar, But I say play those types of songs, but usually I'll play like Vicente, because that's a song that Vicente Fernandez and his son will usually do sometimes when they do live concerts, because it's a very popular song with newer generations. But it's just knowing, even that too, knowing your crowd and knowing what, who is there and what songs to play. Because, like, for example, when with people like my grandparents or stuff like that, I'll play older music, and they'll sit there and be like, oh, when I remember when this song came out, I was this old, and then my uncle said this, and I'm like, okay, right. But or there's other newer generations, they're like, I grew up with my mom or my dad, even like you said, like your mom would listen to Vicente Fernandez sometimes,
Or,
I think you
Ramon
told
Ayala.
me or Ramon Ayala or different Mexican songs. That just, you have to know your crowd. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's what's funny is I've lived here my whole life, obviously. But when I was young.
Yeah.
No, but I think one thing that I haven't appreciated. I mean, you go to vacation a lot of places,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Wow, this is so cool." But then I think if you step outside your own backyard, you can find a lot of interesting things. And I think this area, I was kind of oblivious to I'd seen some mariachi music, but you can see it like they'll perform at restaurants here and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like everyone should experience that, because it's
And I think that's also another reason why I tend to lean more towards on everything else. I tend to lean more towards being Greek because, like you said, everybody, like you said, there's people at restaurants. You'll go to a restaurant, especially Mexican restaurants like taquerias or anything like that, and there's people with like a guitar and like an accordion or this or that, and they're playing Mexican music. They're like, oh, elevator music, whatever. But for being Greek, I'm like, it's kind of more interesting because then people are like, plus I just love that diversity of being able to say, like I'm Greek and like the type of food I love Greek food and I love making it. And there's a few places that have all right Greek food, but I think that's kind of more why my sister and myself kind of lean more towards being Greek because everybody's, so used to, Mexican music here. Because we have a large community of Hispanic people, not just Mexicans, but a large community of Latinos.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the songs though I didn't realize. Have you ever seen? It's like an old Disney movie. It's called the Three Caballeros.
Yeah.
I watched it when I was a kid, and I didn't realize like because I had seen that that song has Solamente una vez in it.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, because I always recognized it, but you just can watch like Donald Duck desecrate all of your Mexican classics.
If you would like.
If you want
for $9.95. This disc includes Donald Duck ruining Solamente una vez.
Jesucita
en Chihuahua.
In Chihuahua.
Other classics like La Negra.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because in that movie they go to Brazil and they go to Mexico City.
Oh, really?
And the Brazilian part was in Bahia, I guess.
Yeah. No, and then even I forgot. Oh, have you ever seen that movie The 5-Year Engagement or something like that?
No.
I think that's what it's called or
But in that
it was exactly that's the whole comedy about it.
Yeah, that was a movie based on my life.
On your life.
Oh snap!
Kidding.
He's already married and got 3 kids and nobody knows about it. Yeah, but even in that song, there's this it's called I forgot the name of the song, mariachi song, but it's Chris Pratt, and he gets married to the person he's gonna get married to in the movie. And he starts singing this. I was watching it, and then like I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it sounds like this song in Spanish, or this mariachi song." And then he starts singing it, and I'm like, "Okay." And then throughout the movie, like when people get married or something romantic happens, whatever, he starts singing that song, which is funny because the song talks about the complete opposite. It talks about a bird and like being left. The bird supposedly left by his companion, his wife, spouse, whatever you'd say in bird talk, But she leaves, and he's sad about it, and that's what he's crying about.
Oh, is it that song that's like your dead bird or something like that? My bird died. What song?
No,
is
that's
that?
a different song.
Oh, how do you say that in Spanish? Which one is that?
It's
like me bird is dead.
Me bird is dead. That's exactly how you say it. Direct translation. Write that down, Aaron. Write that down.
Spanish 101.
Spanish 101. Me dead bird. That's
how do you
that's
say your
translate.
dead bird in Spanish? Muerto.
You want me to directly translate that or the song?
Just
Okay.
directly
It's,
translate the sentence.
Tu pájaro muerto. Tu pájaro muerto.
And isn't that
Your dead
is that
bird.
a song?
There's a few songs that are talking about that, but like
there's a lot
is
of
kind
birds
of-
dying down in Mexico City.
it signifies something else,
My
okay?
bird is dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Here you got the Dean Martin. That's some more, and then over there you have My Bird Is Dead.
Good old
like
classics.
like for
I think that should be the name of that.
Golon.
My bird is dead. Yeah.
That's perfect. No, and that's the thing. Like there's a few songs. Like for example, Golondrina Amarillo, however you say it. I think that's one song that kind of talks about something like that, and even in other songs like bandas, it talks about but it kind of just signifies there's this one song called No hay novedad, which means there's nothing new because she left, and the birds died. There's no water in the fountain. That's literally what he says. He's like, the birds died. There's no water in the fountain. There's this and that.
Man.
It's kind of like that's mariachi sometimes can be the country of Mexico,
country
the country music of Mexico. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, hey,
So if you
let's
play-
go get Pedro over here. He's sad.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, I'm like really sad. And they're like, here, just write us some lyrics.
Just
He's
write
like,
us some lyrics. He's
I'm
like,
not really good at rhyming. He's like, it doesn't matter. Just write
doesn't
it
matter.
down.
Just write it down. We'll
Well, my wife left me, and I'm really sad.
Yeah.
Good. That's great. Keep going.
Yeah, that's the joke. You know what I'm saying? What do you get if you play mariachi and country music
Backwards. You get your house back. You get your wife back.
You get your
truck
dog back. Get everything back. Now let's just go subtly in the country. Anyways, no, I'm
man.
kidding.
Yeah. Well, we're getting near the end of our episode here, but
Any other questions?
before we roast some marshmallows, I wanted you to play a song. Oh, you can play one more song. Can you play Cien Años?
100 años. Off the top of my head,
No,
I have
I'm
to
gonna
remember
do it
it.
to you.
Oh, you're gonna do it to me?
No, I'm just kidding.
You're
Well,
gonna
then
do it to me?
play another classic song that you like while I get the
Alright.
marshmallows out.
Oh, of course, sir. All right. Here's another song for the 20,000 viewers out there. I mean, listeners. It's called Anillo de Compromiso, and this is usually a song that I play for like older generations. And excuse the ASMR, like marshmallow bags being opened in the back, please.
We apologize.
We apologize.
It's actually super loud. We can hear it
Is
very well.
he's like, can you hear this? Like,
Oh, and that was
that was an earthquake.
That was
Oh,
very noisy.
I'm sorry. Tucson just got hit by a 7.2, earthquake, but the podcast is still going. That's how it is. Yeah, but here's a song. It's called Anillo de Compromiso.
Yeah. Oh, these.
Takes
Well,
years of practice.
yeah,
doesn't it?
man. Well, thanks for coming on the show,
Of course, bro.
and
That's
thanks
what I'm
for
here
playing us some couple songs.
Okay. Aaron just wiped the tears. It's all right. It's all right. I know you were touched.
He's having a breakdown.
In
over
the
here.
still of the night, I held you. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little too romantic. I think.
I know, right? Never mind.
Oh,
Aaron's getting all hot and heavy over here.
oh,
So
uh,
we're making some.
I guess the marshmallows are not the
s'mores
only
now.
mushy ones here.
So we're roasting marshmallows
There
right
we
now. We're
are.
gonna have some s'mores. So if you guys can just imagine that happening right now.
Yeah, just imagine that. you know.
Imagine
As,
a candle.
We're just gonna have
small
We're just gonna have
They're gonna taste like
ASMR.
wax.
We are
wax.
holding marshmallows over a candle.
Oh yeah.
Just
table.
ASMR.
Just like we used to do in the old days.
Yeah.
So I guess that will end our episode for today.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you
course.
again for coming. I didn't
Thank you.
thank Jacob last week. We just kind of like stopped the episode. I realized. So
That's
I'm
all
gonna
right, but
take
you
this time to
remembered.
also
You
thank
remembered.
Jacob for
You
coming.
remembered. You remembered.
You remember?
You remember, man.
We will have
never
you
got a
back
chance.
because you did such a great job.
No, he just wants me to sing to him again.
Yeah, he's like,
That's what he wants.
maybe he'll play Boys to Men this time.
Yes.
He's like, he'll come back and we'll talk.
R&B.
Hey, no, we should.
That's gonna be our-
honestly,
no, yeah.
that's
gonna
you
be our
and me.
theme. R&B music.
Yeah, we'll
R&B
talk about
music.
it.
Yeah.
R&B
Man,
music.
they played at the fair one year, and someone's like, "That's not Boys to Men. That's Men to Old Geezers."
Oh wow. Not funny
Hey.
at all.
Aaron is very hurt by
Good,
that comment.
good. That's
because
the
he
point of
loves,
this podcast.
That's
He loves-
music
Aaron.
from my time. That's my era right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he's
well,
like-
I'm sorry.
He's like, we don't even talk anymore. We don't even know what we are. That's how you guys are. You don't even know what you argue about anymore.
Yeah, man.
Goodness,
Dude.
Boys to Men is just about this podcast. That's what it is.
There you go. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Two Crazy Scoops podcast. Tune in next week for our special guest, Daniel Rojo, as he talks to us even more about mariachi music. This is what our podcast. I mean, we started with Star Wars. We're going to end with that. Or we're going to continue after that. But
I
hey,
thought it was Pancho Villa.
well, don't ruin it for everybody, okay?
The mariachi section will be very short next week.
Man, I'm trying to end this episode. I got to do the voice again.
Okay, I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Thank you for listening to this week's version of Two Crazy Scoops podcast. Tune in next week as Daniel Rojo comes and talks to us about mariachi music and Pancho Villa. Woo-wee! Thanks for coming!